What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Naughty Business. We got Dan tonight of Colorfully Vulgar. He's going to be joining us. And we got Dred. Dred's backstage. Dred's ready as well, aren't you, sir? Dred, how the heck are you, brother?
Dude, we're good, man. How are y'all? How's everybody this evening? What is this, Thursday?
It is Thursday,
Man,
6:01.
this year's already almost over. I mean,
Man, tax day's coming.
yeah. Dude, what y'all think about the Epic conference? Let's talk about that. I got to watch a little more of it.
I did not get to go back and watch as much as I wanted to yet. It's been a crazy week with work, so I have not had a chance to much just yet. Um, but it was awesome to finally get it pulled off. It was several months in the making. My dog is doing something.
Yeah, I know a lot went into it, and
Oh, it's crazy.
I guess you guys had a few technical difficulties, but other than that, from what I'm
Yep,
hearing, it's been a big, Epic was a great success. It was epic. It was a great success.
that's right. Looking forward to the next one, baby.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. That was so awesome, man. And how he did the platform, right? You have each of the blocks, and you can just right. It's just like going to a conference. You can just go from one room to the other as you want,
Mhm.
and then always come back and just watch them later because they're there.
Right.
And then is at some point is he going to put this on YouTube, or is it always just going to stay under that Epic
No, it'll
umbrella?
only be. It will go to YouTube at some point, yeah, or some outlet. I don't think it was decided upon yet, but it will become free
Right.
for
Well, dude,
everybody
that's
for good.
awesome.
hmm It's pretty sweet. Hey, let's
And
give
you
a
had
shout
and you
out.
had the you had the host blind, didn't you?
Oh gosh, there was technical difficulties that made it impossible for my friend Alex to get his camera recognized by the software that the hosting company used, and I had no preparation. Yeah, I had to be the guest all of a sudden because there was nobody else had a plug-in problem that it wasn't recognized quite that badly, and so that was unfortunate. I feel terrible because I've known Alex 8 or 9 years, so I felt bad that that's how that went out. But yeah, that was kind of crazy, definitely.
Cool, cool, cool.
Let's say what's up to our sponsors real quick and bring out Dan.
Let's do it.
CharlieShedTesting.com. Big shout out to Charlie. He's the man. If you want to get ahead, send in your shed. Ain't that right? So you need to get one sent in, buddy.
I do need to get one sent in.
I'll have to hit you up on that.
The
Herpin
Harbins.
Harbins. Man, everyone's been loving them. They're building that new standalone dedicated building. Cannot wait to see that. The Harbins are awesome people. They went out and helped somebody I like a lot, Ectothermic Dungeon. I have a lot of respect
Yeah.
for them. They went up there, and I was in Atlanta. I was that morning it happened. I saw the Instagram post up in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I was at the Harbin's table, and they were like, "Oh man," it's like because they were talking about, "Oh man, we got the fold up shop," up in Ectothermic, and they're like, "No, no, we got some stuff. We'll help them out. We got something we can help them out with." And then here you go. This past week, they went there in person and helped get their rodent colony seeded again. So good people. Gotta love them.
Oh yeah, the Harbins are awesome, dude.
They are. And my guy, Rich at Python Antics out in New Mexico. Rich is a great guy to work from. If you guys are, he's always on Morph Market, has animals available, as well as very active on Facebook. So check out Rich.
He's that close to me, New Mexico.
He is. Yeah, he's in like kind of north central, I think, area.
Yeah, that ain't okay. Well, I
All
mean,
right.
still, that's
Yeah, it's a little walk for you.
10
Let's
hours, but
let's bring up. Dan and give him the main feature.
What up, Dan?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me.
joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, God. Got a glare on my face. Shit.
Is that some sunlight?
Yeah, it's coming through my blinds.
I actually have my
That's
window
kind of
open.
cool.
It's a nice enough afternoon. The window's open right next to me. It'll get cool tonight, but
I'm not really into fresh air. I need conditioned air. I'm a little baby.
yeah, and I would assume the sunlight in your line of work, historically, the sunlight is probably not something you get out in a whole lot. More the evening, the restaurant. Don't you host? You've been
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bar owner, keeper, right? So
Yeah, I'm getting used to now, halfway through my 30s, getting used to working a 9 to 5 and like being alive during regular hours. But now a lot of my life, I've lived really late at night, being a bartender, bar owner, bar manager.
all right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's up with KC? There's a lot of people I really like over there. Do you guys all get together and have like dinner, like Friendsgiving or something? I mean, there's a handful. There's some heat coming out of Kansas City. What's in the water over there?
Fluoride. No.
And lots of it.
Yeah, yeah, just a lot. We're
Everyone's got
freebasing
great
fluoride.
smiles, so I would believe it. I mean, it's
Yeah, I think it's just my contrast is bumped up really high, so you can't tell how yellow my teeth are. But no, we don't. I haven't really spent any personal time with any other keepers here in Kansas City, but there are a good amount of us. SSR, Celtic is out here. I'm blanking.
PJs.
Yeah, PJ's Creations. Eric, that guy's cool. He's a good guy. He'll be over this Sunday. We'll be doing a little business. Who else is out here? Cuddle Time Critters is out here. We've got a good amount of
There's
people
a
in the hobby.
really pretty awesome Midwest
Oh,
Scales.
Tallgrass.
Yep,
Tallgrass.
they've got some
That
nice.
dude's been around forever.
Really?
In 2012, the first reptile
So good.
reptile the fuck do you, convention, what is it called, show, the first reptile show I ever went to, Tallgrass was there, and he was like super heavy into hypo and G-stripe at the time. A good amount of spider in there too, but that was just kind of part of the times of 2012.
Yep.
And I remember getting a card from him, and that dude's just been out here quietly kicking ass for over 15 years. It's kind of crazy.
They have some animals that catch my eye quite a bit on Morph Market.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good guy. What was the question? Oh, do we
You're
have
definitely
dinner?
in an area
Oh.
where there's a lot of, you got a lot going on.
This is a little concentration, I feel like, in that area, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just keep winning Super Bowls, just kicking ass. It's whatever.
Doing what
Did
you
they win
gotta
the last
do.
one?
I'm a Cowboys fan, so I don't remember. No. I was born in Texas. Okay, it's fine. From Texas before the Texans were there, the Houston Texans. So
I like them, but yeah, it's the Oilers, you know?
yeah, Mooney. Was that his name? Warren Moon? What is his name?
Yeah, Warren Moon, number one. That was his. Yeah, he was a big deal for that franchise.
Before my time, but he was
Sadly,
Good.
not before mine.
Yeah, but dude, growing up in East Texas in the late 70s, early 80s when Landry and the Cowboys was kicking tail,
Oh,
Andy
right?
Don.
That was good stuff, man. And my grandpa used to kick the TV in if the ref would bad calling it's the Cowboys. He probably went
Yeah.
through 4 TVs one season.
My dad was a local sports writer for the small town that I lived in. He ended up being an editor for that newspaper. But when I was a kid, I'd get to go into the newsroom, which was full of smoke. This other sports writer had all those little plastic helmets all over his gigantic, like beige-looking computer monitor, and I thought that dude was the coolest because he had all those plastic helmets.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't become a fan of the Cowboys until I was like 10. So that was around like 1998. So it's like I bought into the housing market in 2009 or something. It was just
Right.
fucking awful. Can I cuss on here? Sorry.
it's YouTube. Yeah.
So
Dude,
my
bro,
entire
you-
my
you
entire
be
life,
you.
my entire life, the Cowboys have just been mediocre to almost worth something. But no.
Oh, I'll just keep my Cowboys opinions to myself. They've had some good talent. Jerry Jones might drink too much of his own Kool-Aid. I mean, that's kind of
Oh, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
he's high on his own supply.
Oh, well.
So, what are you doing this year, man? What's your newest projects for 25? That is something you have not worked in ball pythons so far. What are you excited about, man?
2025? Man. I just picked up from Argen Reptiles a blackhead calico clown het desert ghost. I mean, my biggest project is DG clown, which I think is pretty common. But, you know, I'm getting some new genes in that project that I'm really excited about. I think calico could do some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Blackhead, just dark. Let's just go dark with DG clown and see what's going on under.
Yeah.
You know, like if it was going to be a completely black snake, maybe if you put DG in there, you can see something more.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that Calico and Banana are kind of like getting back to the cool kids club a little bit lately? Like, I feel like I love it. I like them both, and I'm seeing some mind blowing combos now, and it's just
I'll let
like,
calico come to the big boy table, but no disrespect. I don't really mess with banana.
None taken.
it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not for everybody. We
All
we
the
get it.
all the like albino looking stuff, T positive or T negative. I don't really understand the genetics of that whole spectrum of the gene pool. I just isn't for me. It makes things too. It puts it on its own color palette. It's like it's on its own spectrum of color when you're messing within an albino or even banana, and it's hard enough to see a lot of genes, you know, on the common spectrum of color. I find it impossible to see some of that stuff in banana and lavender albino and stuff like that. Beautiful animals. I'd rather master the common spectrum of color. But by the time I master that, I'll be way too far behind on the other stuff, so I'll just retire.
Yeah, it is a bit disenchanting, but that's like as Brian of Heathen Hatchery says, oh, just stick to the plan, and just like it's definitely
Yeah.
people have been in my ear before, like just turn out the negativity and just don't worry about chasing a dollar. Pick something you think is financially viable, and pick many things you think are interesting, and be aware of what's a dead end project or a gene that nobody wants, and kind of make your choices. Buy the most expensive snakes you can afford. Less numbers, better quality. And some of
Absolutely.
those lessons I've had to internalize and course correct a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Multiple over and over again every year. You know, I sell off adults every year, not only because I've grown out of those genes in my projects, but you have to pivot. I mean, if you're not tweaking, every year, every quarter, you might not be paying attention. You might get left behind.
wow, that actually makes me feel better because
I mean, course correction in anything, my life, just career choices.
yeah, well, I can relate to
It's
that.
constant. Yeah.
Speaking of career choices, man, how's work? I know you started a new job. Are you liking it? You don't have to give us details, but how's work feel? Has it been a good improvement? You happy?
It's all right for now. I'm just lucky to have a job, and I think things are getting kind of weird out there. I don't want to talk politics or anything, but
Right.
I think I'm in a good position to just kind of hold steady while shit goes down. I don't know
Right.
what
Ride
that
it- ride
is
it
or
out,
how it's
yeah.
gonna go, but I'll open my window and look outside at some point, and hopefully everything's still there.
It's the best we could hope for right now.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So you ever see yourself diversifying, or have you always been strictly a ball python guy? Do you keep other animals now as pets, even if you don't breed, or no?
I have been researching dart frogs. I love these vivarium videos that I see on YouTube all the time. They're just so beautiful. I know they're probably a pain in the ass to maintain, but just maybe the videos themselves are just like kind of therapeutic to watch somebody build this like living piece of art, which is the vivarium itself, and then you plant your animal in there, and hopefully the colors that you put in that vivarium and the layout of that vivarium kind of are copacetic with the animal, you know. And then
That
I'm
is
also
cool.
really into photography, so if I, you know, it includes a lot of interests, making things that look nice and then
No,
capturing those
no
things.
shortage of good subject material when it comes to dart frogs, is there? Man, I just
Yeah, yeah, they're so cool. I forget the dude's YouTube channel. There's like Dark Frog Garage guy. I forget, but I mean his garage is like 24 vivariums breeding colonies of different species of poison dart frogs, and it's just really cool to watch him develop those colonies. I'm also really intrigued by arboreal snakes, chondros, and
yeah.
basin
Oh,
emerald.
you like the emeralds, yeah?
Yeah, I think the chondros look meaner, which interests me more. They just look like they could kill you, while the emeralds look more like a slow dinosaur. But that's still cool in its own right, and they're bigger, right? So I think
Yeah.
bigger always cooler. I'm interested in keeping those, but whenever I do anything, I want to make sure that I can do it at the level that I could be proud of. So I'm not in any rush to add those species.
Right.
But I'm interested in keeping even a chondro or an emerald in a vivarium. I have this bottle cooler. It's like, I don't know, like 6 feet tall, that I was going to turn into a incubator a few years ago. I ended up buying one of those hot boxes from Sea Servants.
I think
Is
that's
that
right.
is
Yeah.
that the brand?
Yeah.
I ended up buying one of those from not Tinley, but the other one that's up in Chicago.
Schaumburg.
Schaumburg. I drove up to Schaumburg and picked that up. But that cooler that I was going to turn into an incubator, I think I've been kind of researching and looking at how realistic it could be to turn that into a vivarium and put something like a chondro or an emerald in there. It would
Nice.
be pretty easy access. I mean, the whole fucking front would come
Right.
open to like maintain.
Some very cool enclosures are repurposed items. I've seen like the claw machine,
Oh,
Chuck E.
Yeah,
Cheese.
the
sick.
arcade games and the claw
That's
machines,
cool.
those look cool.
Someone
Yeah,
that,
that
And then you just
absolutely.
pick up the turds off the bottom with the claw.
well, that
Yeah,
part's been
that'd
removed.
be
It's
sick.
all done as
Yeah,
inside of the vivarium, but
Never mind. I don't like this at all. Just kidding.
right.
you went from three sides. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a
Yeah.
cube on a pedestal. One of my favorite like aquarium type setups. I love a three-sided view, like in a reef tank. It's just the best.
I love an octagonal corner tank. I don't know what it is about corner stuff. I love when shit fits in a corner. It makes me feel good.
Hmm.
Just,
At least you
I don't
didn't
know.
say bow front. I can at least respect that. You picked a different,
Oh
geometry.
no, no, not a bow. I don't know why I don't like those, but they look hard to clean
They're hard to
and
look at.
maintain.
It with your eye, you're like, oh. It's
Oh, and then it
really,
like magnifies things
you know,
strangely and
they
stuff.
get better. The technology's better now, especially with the glass. But I just always remember that kind of being they're just a pain.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, corner stuff is cool. They're hard to work on though. They're hard to access and have fun,
yeah.
but they're
I like
great.
stuff that are that's not practical. That's usually what I like. Things that are going to be a pain in my ass. But that's okay.
So tell us about your photography. I see it looks like you got a drafting table behind you, some sweet lighting. Like, what's
Yeah.
up with your photography? You got a nice AV setup in general. What drives this interest for you?
I got a degree in animation from the Kansas City Art Institute here.
Oh, that's a good one.
I went to a couple other schools and transferring. I don't know, since high school. In high school, I took every art class available to me except for ceramics. And I took like 2 years of photography in high school, studied film while I was in college as well. And it's just something I've always really enjoyed and geeking out
Yeah.
on, you know? Like in YouTube videos, just consuming YouTube videos nonstop. because I graduated, 10 years ago now. So just keeping up to date with like tech specs and what works
Yeah,
well.
stuff
I
evolves
just
quick.
I just spend so much time looking at useless stuff, but
But it's not useless though.
it
I mean,
makes
it's really
good
gross.
images and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So many
I
things that
never
I'll
studied
never
much
buy.
cinema photography. I don't know much about it. So your style, I think, stands out to a lot of people. The motorized lazy Susan,
Oh yeah,
the
you
dark, the
got to
deep
keep
shadows.
things interesting, man. You gotta, there's something about shooting animals in the wild. You never know what you're gonna get from the animal, and then this lazy Susan spinning disc thing just kind of keeps things a little bit more natural, and you have to contort your body and change your range of the lens, and just kind of be actively creative and not formulaic, because then things just get boring, and then you get tired of doing it, and then you stop doing it, and then nobody buys your snakes. So
So you've been working on some art. You put one up in your story recently.
oh
Um,
yeah,
so
I shot.
what's up with the art? I mean, it sounds like you have an artistic eye in general, but what do you do like pencil to paper? What's your favorite? Is this something you do that's
Medium.
just for fun? Yeah.
I This is kind of lame. In high school, I competed in painting and drawing.
Okay.
Like I said, I took every art class available to me except ceramics, and I was
I like how you
determined.
keep saying that. Like there's something wrong with the ceramics people. You pinch pot mother.
They're in a cult, dude. There's
Yeah,
something
you gotta
wrong
watch
with
the
them,
ceramic
dude.
Watch
class.
out, they'll kill you.
Who
Yeah.
likes playing in mud that much? It's kind of weird. Hippies. Anyway, I was determined to letter in art, and I had to win so many or place in so many art shows in high school in order to letter in art, and I ended up getting it. And I had my letter, never got a Letterman jacket because I was like, well, I got this. I'm not going to spend $200 on a Letterman jacket. That's stupid. So then I ended up just losing it over the years. But I was really into drawing and painting. My favorite medium's probably acrylic paint, but I haven't drawn or painted consistently in like 10 years either since I
Yeah.
graduated college. So I'm getting back into it. I started drawing this. It's a picture of the first hatchling that we hatched as colorfully vulgar back in 2020, and it's a black-eyed Lucy coming out of an egg,
The
and that
water
was
droplets, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah, that was the fastest and easiest part of the whole thing. The rest of it was such
Really?
a pain in the ass. Yeah, because it's just like a white pen marker, paint marker, and yeah, I mean, I did the white parts in maybe like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
but then all the subtleties of the off-white and the tans and creams, that's
yeah, all that stuff. Man, I forgot how complicated it is to draw or color white stuff. So a white snake on a white egg. The egg is, like an off-white, egg white color. But then yeah, it's that, and human skin is like a giant pain in the ass. But it's what I like to do. I like the challenge. I like the color theory. There's like in the snake's head itself, there's a lot of lavenders and blues and greens in there. That might
yeah.
not be so. That might not be that easy to see, but
Oh yeah, you can see better there.
Yep.
yeah. In
Dang.
order in order to get those real subtle fleshy tones, I mean, there's like a lot of purple in here and some greens in here because his eye's black, and through white it looks kind of green. But yeah, it was something that I really valued as a younger man, and now I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah, I got away from it. I did a ton of art when I was young as well, but then I got away from I did too, just completely dropped it over the years. And now I just wow small children that I can draw way better than them and kick their ass when they sit down and color with me. But
Yeah,
otherwise, I
hell
got
yeah.
nothing. It's terrible.
I mean, for me, it was like I don't. If I could monetize this talent, I wouldn't want to, because I got a taste of that in college doing like internships and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and just turning your passion, especially a creative's passion like that, into a source of income is so soul sucking. You're like, fuck. It took me so long just to motivate myself to start drawing. Like I had to go get my half diet Dr. Pepper, half Code Red fountain drink from the gas station and get my Cheez-Its. It has to be 72 degrees in this room.
But
I have
not
to have
ceramics.
a show. Yeah, fuck ceramics. But, I have to get all this stuff just to motivate myself to sit down and draw. Once you suck the soul out of it, that's kind of how I stopped drawing for 10 years. I was like, I'm 25 now. I should go make some money. And then I opened a bar. So,
Well, that was, I mean, it was a good idea, I guess, looking back. I mean, it's what, so you've been in that biz now, what, you said 20 or 10 years?
12, yeah,
Yeah.
12 years. Yeah. I was bartending and bar managing through college as well.
Okay. So
And then,
you
yeah.
kind of knew the lay of the land. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Stole some ideas off of some employers. I mean, it's not really stealing ideas. They're out in the ether. Learn some stuff from some employers.
So what was your biggest challenge? I mean, you running your bar. What is your biggest challenge been that you had to overcome while running your bar?
I mean, other than my own ignorance, I was 26. Other than my own ignorance to business in general, and having an art mind and not a business mind, I'm really good at learning things intuitively, and I can't always articulate what it is that I learned, but I can feel it. So just over time, I learned and overcame. Oh, geez, what's this light?
Right.
A bunch of stuff just intuitively, but outside of my own ignorance to taxes and filings and certifications and
yeah.
all this fucking boring shit. The people, I didn't realize how imperative the dealing with people part was, not only employees, and that's complicated in its own right.
I understand
Right?
staffing is the A1 headache. I understand.
Jeez, like
When you
God,
have a
like,
business that requires
and you feel
employees.
responsible for these adults and their livelihoods, and you don't want to let them down.
Right.
And when one's being a little shit, you don't want them to ruin the rest of everybody else's experience at that job, but you also don't want to be a dick. And I think one flaw is I always wanted to be the cool dad boss. I wanted to be the
Right.
nice boss. I wanted to be the best boss, and sometimes that was to my own detriment.
Right.
So I would redo some stuff if I ever got into it. It would take a lot for me to get back into owning bars, but if the right situation came up, I'd be more selfish, I guess, which is kind of lame to say, because that's not
Probably
really
just
who
more
I am.
focused to like you're gonna cut
Yeah.
the bottom line or you're not. It's gonna stay. It's gonna
Yeah.
be niche. It's gonna be
Yeah, like
not
I
just
kept.
the run of the mill 5 o'clock happy hour place, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a destination and something that's
Yeah,
got an art flair, unique drinks. I mean, I've seen some of your other podcasts, and you like interesting, not mainstream cocktails, and I think that kind of can
Yeah,
appeal to a
no,
boutique audience.
no Applebee's cocktails. We're getting into the good stuff, getting into the good whiskeys. Not so much sugar, because that's a bad hangover. Nobody
Yeah.
wants it.
Oh, it's sugar. We're blaming sugar now. I didn't know. I didn't see. I thought it
Yeah, some people say it's like liquor before whatever the hell.
was liquor before
Okay,
beer.
okay.
You're in the clear. Beer before liquor. Never sipping.
It's really your sugar intake. I don't know. Wine. I don't even mess with wine. I don't know anything about that. I drank that a couple times. Had the worst hangovers of my life. So I don't mess with wine. But your sugar intake has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So
Like,
Jack
if you're-
and Coke are really
you should-
screwing me in.
Yeah, you should do that's why I stick to like tequila sodas when I'm just keeping it casual, and then just shots of tequila. Just skip
The
all
lime
that
and the salt.
stuff.
I don't drink anymore, but lime and salt. I love tequila shots.
Yeah, they're fun. They can be ritualistic and stuff. We would always do, which goes against the sugar intake. We always did vodka Red Bull races, and yeah, the loser had to buy the round. I was a champion. Best around.
Red Bull vodkas are good.
Yeah, I never did the Red Bull thing.
It doesn't taste great, but
It just
Love it.
you drink
I
it so
never liked
fast
them,
you don't
so
even
I just
taste it,
never
man.
I never did it.
Just chug it.
Vodka was my Achilles heel, so
That's fair. I don't drink
I can't.
vodka other than vodka Red Bull races. Actually, I have a
And
friend in town. I might be
tequila
having a
sodas, the
few
tequila
tonight.
shots, and
Ew. What do you guys drink? Do you guys drink much anymore?
Nothing anymore.
You retired? Retired? Yeah.
tired as well. I
Yeah,
was
I
put
had to
on the
retire.
permanent DL, so I know. Yeah, I don't. I'm a
I get
teetotaler
it.
now.
I'm getting there. Like, now that I don't own a bar, I drink a lot less, and I feel a lot better. So I'm
Yeah.
learning. And man, I'm such a cheap date now. I have like 3 Michelob Ultras, and I'm feeling pretty good, which is
Dude, I'll tell you what, right? People want to, right? Hey, why are you drinking them ultras? Well, I'll tell you what. When you wake up every day feeling like crap, and I don't,
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep drinking
yeah.
them.
You can have a Bud Heavy all you want, buddy.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
gonna
drink an
make you
ultra
feel like
once in a
shit.
while, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I like their casual beers. Like if you're trying to, I guess this might not be in like your guys' zeitgeist or your culture, but you show up to a bar, you're not really sure who's there. You're just popping in to see what's good. You know, get an ultra because I don't, I'm not gonna take a shot and get wasted before I know anyone
Hey
I
guys, I'm here
know
by
is here.
myself.
Yeah, you gotta assess.
Woo!
What's
Yeah,
up?
the
Yeah, you
crowd.
gotta
Yeah, the
assess the
environment.
situation, make sure there's no weird, buff dudes that are gonna want to beat you up.
Yeah,
And,
you went into the wrong bar that was. Yeah.
yeah, the wrong night. It's like it's
Yeah.
goth communist Appalachian night. I don't know.
Well, right
But
next door is a bar called the Manhole. Just go over there. A lot of construction guys go there later. It's
Well, we accidentally went into that bar
young
down in
man.
Hollywood one time.
really, in Hollywood?
Yeah, yeah, and I had my cowboy hat on, my boots. We was at a turban conference, and we went out. Yeah, and we went into this bar, and and hey, cowboy, come up. And I was like, let's buy you around. Sure thing. I'm not gonna. Right, go ahead. I'll be taken around from anybody. And then we had a drink, and then we left and went to wherever the hell we went. But
Damn,
yeah, we didn't know that's what this was.
I just had deja vu. I've heard that story before of someone in Hollywood going to a cowboy bar and just being completely unaware of the situation. What is this bar? I kind of want to go. I've heard multiple people.
Yeah,
talking
I
about
forget which one that. Yeah,
This is happening. Road
Yeah.
trip.
Oh, man, that's a long trip. Nah, I'll just go down to the corner bar.
That's right.
But yeah,
So you love the history of jeans. So aside from this art, we've been getting to know you. I want to peel back the layers of this onion named Dana. I wanted to learn more about you, the person.
I stink. Yeah, fuck.
When it comes to your ball pythons, Dred, I don't know if I shared this with you before, but he really does his research and his homework, and like really likes to kind of pay homage to the people that kind of dug in and founded the gene, proved it out, and hopefully you can tell us some more about that and why it's important to you and what will you get out of that history keeping and
Yeah.
lineage.
I don't know. I've been around the ball python hobby for I don't know, what, like 13 years now, and it's kind of nostalgic in a way. Some people will go play old video games. I remember back when I was 20, watching Ralph Davis's YouTube videos and looking at his website and him posting pictures of his flatline clown. And 10 years later, 3 years ago, I find a flatline from Ralph Davis on Morph Market, and I just pick it up. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. I don't know. It's like record keeping, history keeping. It's a little nostalgic. It just means a little bit more, when you know the history behind it, and Yeah, I never hear the name Casey Lasik anymore. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He uh, and Enchi's kind of fallen out of favor because it doesn't allow for a lot of pattern, especially in clown. But back in the day, he ruled Enchi clowns. His Enchi clown was, the gold standard on King Snake and Fauna Classifieds. So
Love fauna.
when I got back on, I think it was 2019, I came back in. I made a list of stuff that I wanted, and all these opinions were based on kind of dated information. I was also researching, but I sat down. I was like, well, if I was going to get back into the hobby, I would want Ozzy's Orange Dream. I would want Casey Lasik's Enchi. I would want to work with the best of the best. And since I'm starting all over, because I sold my collection back in 2015 to pay for my last semester of college, since I'm starting all the way over, why don't I just get the best of everything? And money, I didn't have all the money in the world, so I couldn't just go buy these specific jeans with the hats already. So I
Yeah.
went and I bought adult females with those jeans that weren't het for anything, but then I made my own hats.
Right.
It's taken me longer. It's been the scenic route, but I'm finally this year, I think, hitting my stride with a lot of these jeans that I've brought up through the ranks.
And that's
And
been like a 5-year timeline. Is that right?
yeah, we're in year 6, so we completed 5 years this past January.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and this go around as colorfully, where it's been 5 years plus, and actually the clown that I chose to pick up to get clown into all these jeans was, I got it from God, I forget their name. They're closely tied to Clutch and Justin Kabilka. S is like their initials. I forget. But I got the first ever Fire Clown through them, which was produced by Justin Kabilka, or what's the other name?
Canova.
Canova. Sorry, my brain's broken. And I just wanted the first Fire Clown. I was like, oh, that's sick. I'm gonna have a J. Kabilka production. It's the first ever Fire Clown. That meant something to me. I don't know why these things meant something to me, but just the historical record keeping and having a piece of history. Even though I've moved on from that snake, he was a great snake. He would hook up to a garden hose if you let him. He was prolific. I ended up letting him go because, he's just a fire clown at the end of the day. But, I was really honored to work with a lot of these jeans, like the Flatline jean and Casey Lasik's Enchi and Ozzy's Orange Dream, stuff like that.
You're gonna get you a Tom Barnhart Black Pastel then?
Yeah, I have a lot of it. And I all of my yellow belly is bling yellow belly from Nerd. So, I very carefully picked all this stuff and mixed it accordingly.
Nice.
And then there's new
That's
jeans
awesome.
that I learned about. And when I came back in, I was like, oh, crap. It looks like everything's going double recessive. So I
Yeah.
picked up a pastel het clown, het pied girl and grew her up. And she's given me like 3 clutches now. And I've had her since a hatchling. And then I was like, wow, Desert Ghost clowns look awesome. At the time, they're also $15,000. So I was like, I guess I'm going to be making my own DG clowns. And I went not the most efficient way about doing that. I made my hats slowly, and now I have a good chance of making quite a few DG clowns this year.
Nice. That's part of my main project as well. Just
Yeah.
it's a great look together, I think, and there's still more to be done with it.
And I think it's important to have like consistency. I think a lot of people waffle too much between what projects they want to do. It's always great to correct, but don't overcorrect. Like, because if you do it too often and you do it too widely, you're never going to get anywhere. So you need some cohesion moving forward. And that's the one thing that I think I'm pretty good about, pretty stubborn about, is like, these are my projects, and I want to see them down the road 10 years from now.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm going to stick to it and get some results. Whether the odds gods are with me or not, I'm going to keep hacking away at it, because persistence is key to, you know, a lot of success.
Yeah. How many clutches a year do you
Yeah.
usually do, man? What's a good zone for
Last
you?
year it was weird. 3 years ago I did 16 clutches. 2 years ago, it was a weird year. A lot of personal stuff was going on, so I only hatched about 7 clutches. And then this past year, we did 22.
Nice. All right.
And that's where I want to be. It was right
Yeah.
around 25. You know, I don't want to do more than that.
Right.
I know what I can handle, and without hiring somebody, 25, that's a lot. You know,
That's a lot.
it's a lot of
So,
responsibility.
so feeders then on that note, 25 clutches as far as feeders go, frozen thawed or you raise them?
No, I raise them, and we do rats, mice, and ASFs. Mice to just keep those little hatchlings at bay with their hunger, and they grow quickly. The mice, that is. Rats to satiate the adults in their hunger, because they need bigger prey faster, and rats grow a lot faster than ASFs.
Yeah.
But the primate, like the biggest chunk of my rodents production is ASFs in volume. I have 2 racks of ASFs, but you know, they're tricky, they're finicky. You got to really pay a lot of attention to them for them to produce well. But when they do produce well, I mean,
Yeah, once you get it going,
Yeah.
it goes.
yeah. God forbid, you know, a colony goes south and you weren't prepared to restock that colony right away, and you're like 2 months away from that bin producing any babies, right? So it could be frustrating, but the ASFs, they smell so much less, they eat
Oh,
so
yeah.
much less. You know, there's so many positives with the ASFs, but a big hindrance to going full ASF is the speed in which they grow.
Yep. They are slow.
Yeah, but they're great. I love them. Even though one bit me yesterday.
Oh
Hasn't
man,
been
mine.
in a long
So I
time.
got a 1.4 of ASFs. I've had a litter.
Mhm.
They are slow to get
Oh yeah.
eyes open and get moving. My God.
And you feel bad if you feed off those little babies to hatchlings. You're like, fuck. I mean, that's kind of a waste, you know. So I'd rather feed them mice. These little stinky bastards that grow a lot faster and produce a lot faster.
Yeah, I don't like mice, but I'm gonna have to start me a couple colonies. I
Just
know,
yeah, just
I
to
know for sure. Probably 2 at least. So
just to keep you on the right side of
yeah,
yeah, your snakes being hungry.
yeah.
You
The
know,
rats are good. I mean, I'm having pretty good success right now, but it wouldn't hurt to have some.
yeah, especially if you intend to expand, you gotta grow your production in rodents as you grow. You know, how
Oh
many?
yeah, well I'm aware of that, huh, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Sometimes
I've got
feels
to make another rack, maybe another 6 or 7 tall one, or I'm thinking about going like 4 wide and like 6 tall. That's what I really need to do.
yeah.
Like one
God,
big rack.
it's so much work. Such a pain
Oh, I
in the
know.
ass. But I mean, that or I have a $500 rodent bill every
Yeah,
month.
but you know what? To be
Yeah.
honest, though, I actually enjoy the rodent room, getting in there and just doing my thing, cleaning and working. I mean, I have a production like some people have, but still, it's
It can be like in caring for the rodents and the snakes. It can all be therapeutic.
yeah,
It's really about your attitude, and if you have the wrong attitude about it, not only people talk about you have to have the passion and you have to love these animals, otherwise you're not gonna get very far. Not only the passion, but like you got to be able to sometimes trick yourself into enjoying it. Like, oh, this is meditative. I'm going to put on a podcast and, just listen to something that I really enjoy and try to make this as enjoyable as possible. Because if you don't do that, you're going to get pissed and you're going to give up. And, you got to
Absolutely.
give yourself the best chance to succeed.
Yeah, you get right because the same routine just gets monotonous, and that's what does it. It's like, so you do.
Yeah.
You're right. You got to look at another avenue of it. And that's what I do. I'll turn a podcast on or just get some good music and get in there with my own thoughts, and my
Yeah.
dog will hang out with me, and I just
Yeah.
get in there and go to work,
Hey,
and
if
I'm
you
just
get a
like,
drop onto the floor, does a dog get it for you? Will she?
I keep him. I make him stay back, and sometimes I put him outside if I got to get in the lower tub. But yeah, he'd probably try to chase him and get him, but he don't.
Good.
He don't. He's good. He wants to play with everything, so I just let him hang out with me so he's not bugging Mama.
See, I'd
So he
like a
comes in there
dog.
and
If
hangs
there's
out with
one-
me while I do my thing, and then no big deal.
I just go feral. I just get on my hands and knees and find that little bastard.
Oh,
You
dude,
know,
and they're fast, and I can't stand it. If one gets away, I got to catch him right now.
There's something to be said about
Yeah.
how frustrating and how angry I can get about a rat getting loose.
Oh,
It's just like,
gosh.
you're just like, fuck. There goes the next 30 minutes of my life.
Dude, I was doing a live one day on TikTok, and one got loose. Everybody thought
God.
we got to catch this rat. We caught him on the live.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I would have left it. I was like, there's no way I can catch this.
Oh,
on
it
the
was funny,
live.
man. Everybody was laughing. It was actually a good time.
reptile
Oh,
shop
yeah.
I worked at in the 90s, we had a large colony, and they were like the breeder type tubs for rats. So two adult they weren't very large. This is
Mhm.
90. This is like 94, so it was a long time ago. There was as many people in the marketplace selling good items now as there are as there are today, and so the rats can knock them off the shelf, and that top isn't secured. Even if it was, it pops off by the time it hits the ground, and they're gone. So we had rats get out. They weren't chew outs. They tipped their tubs, their breeding tubs, off the. Why the owner didn't have something better set up, I don't know. But I don't think ARS and Freedom Breeder. I don't think they were doing things like that back then.
Sure.
I'm making sure the DIY concept for the rat racks was very prevalent, or
There's
even
definitely no YouTube to teach you how to do that shit.
right. So, anyhow, when they got out, we had a frog gig on like a painter pole for a roller, extension pole for a roller, whatever that is, 5 foot.
Yeah.
And we had
Yeah.
a frog gig. We had a few of them because they'd get down by the water heater and the copper pipes and under the floor, and you'd see their little beady eyes looking up. You ain't catching them down in between the rafters. So we just giggity gig, and then there it goes.
That's funny. No, I don't know. I can't imagine how you could do any of this back in the 90s. It's just so many barriers to entry if you wanted to be a breeder. It had to have looked so unattractive to the common person, the hobby in the 90s. That's why so few people did it, because it was so difficult. Like there probably, I don't know of there being rodent racks, like you said, back in the 90s. Just the concept of a rodent rack makes breeding rodents so much easier.
Right.
And, like, God. And yeah, nobody really had a firm grasp on how to breed ball pythons, which are the easiest things to breed in relation to other stuff now. But they were having a really hard time with it in the 90s. So, like, it's hard to imagine. There was no internet. The books about it were probably wrong.
On
You
some
probably
families.
you had to just know somebody and go bring
Yeah.
an apprentice, like an old school squire, just to learn this shit.
I learned a lot from Felipe Desvejole.
That guy sounds like he knows a shitload about reptiles. That's
He
a
was the author on a bunch of various reptile books. It was awesome. It was,
Oh, really?
yeah, pretty cutting edge for the time. I mean, it was in depth. There was no book about husbandry or wild conditions,
Right.
anatomical studies of, like, say, chameleons. And here's a
Yeah.
whole book. And then there's sailfin dragons and iguanas and all this different. It was it was a whole series. But
Nice.
yeah, it was a really cool series of books. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
but-
and smoke signals, sometimes carrier pigeon if we were lucky. Rich kids had those.
But now we're just like swamped. You're like inundated with information on how to keep and how you should keep and the morality of keeping and all these other different
What's up, Will and Uncle?
sub genres of video just to create content. Sometimes I get a little, tired of the YouTube videos sometimes because
Right.
they're they just seem very obviously just created to make content because now we're
Hitting algorithms instead of
yeah
making product. It's like, oh,
you gotta hit this pace and you gotta keep that pace and
like on
then,
TikTok, right, Dred? It's daily. If you don't, you got to post every day, and if you go live for it's 60 minutes, you need to hit 1 hour, or it doesn't really count. But if you go and if you can do it the same time a day, it's like bonus points in the algorithm, and
Yeah.
you get spread out. But you have to do it on the regular, otherwise you just fall off the map. And I
yeah.
guess YouTube can be similar. I have no way, shape, or form mastered YouTube, so
I have a friend who's YouTube famous, and I've heard him talk about it, and it just boggles my mind. Like how many things you have to take into consideration
yeah,
is and which analytics to watch. And oh, actually, the algorithm just changed because it
yeah,
wants to favor shorter videos. Whatever they were pushing their TikTok variant on
Yeah.
YouTube, and he does really well. I think he hit his stride at the right time and then capitalized on it over and over again. Because that's what you need to do. Like if you have a video that performs really well, you have to attempt to capitalize on that exposure by doing it again and again and again and again and again. And that would be maddening. I don't know.
yeah.
A challenge.
I don't even know if as much as we go at it, Dread, like, on the trying, with this show and just the networking and everything, I don't know if I have the energy to do all of that. Like I don't have the time in
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
All I know is YouTube. If you're really into it, it's right. It's time consuming.
Yeah.
It'll take over your life if you let it. If you right, I mean, just like anything, how much you put into it, what's your ROI on that?
I think that's why
Right.
good, clear, authentic videos that aren't super long do really well. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then just like ASMR videos, just
Oh,
right,
whispering.
right.
oh, what's that famous line, Dan? Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, what are you doing?
I need to make more videos, man. I
He used to make
totally
videos, and that was
off.
always the intro. I started cracking
Hey,
up when I was going through
what are you
video after
doing?
video. Is it on your TikTok page or your old Instagram?
Yeah, man, I haven't even been on that TikTok page
I
in
don't know which
forever.
one it was that had those. Like, it was
It
one,
was a
I think.
TikTok.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I was cracking up. By the time I got to the fifth one, I was like, he's making this a thing. I love it.
I don't know. It's just how I like say hi to my friends. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You want to get fucked up? Hey, what are you doing? You want to go watch a movie? I don't, you know. It's just like,
The consistency was killing. That's what was the funny part, man. That was good.
thanks. The people find my monotoneness funny, and I guess that's cool. Just how I talk. I don't know.
They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you.
Yeah, those sons of bitches.
So what are your
Rethink my
lighting, man?
life.
Before you got some animals you were going to show us tonight. Tell us about your
Yeah.
photography. I mean, no, like, I don't need to know the details, but what
Yeah.
do you do to get your dark shadows and and obviously the moving lazy Susan? What do you like to do? Is it a really dim room, really concentrated light? And have you played with that formula since? I mean, your photo style is kind of, I feel like, almost a calling card. You look at some breeders and it's the same really consistently. And
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you kind of, are hitting that stride a bit. Do you play with it, or do you keep that formula the same when it comes to photographing your snakes?
It only ever changes when my room changes. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, I have not posted many pictures of animals. Not only because I'm not getting new hatchlings, but my room's kind of in disarray. I've got like a new adult ARS rack back there that's just like leaning up against the wall and not put together. I'm putting that together this Sunday, and I'm waiting on a couple things. Like I want a rolling background color sheet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? And just
Yep.
mount it on the wall, and I can just unroll it and then put it away. I like to make things as efficient and as efficient with space as possible.
I want to get those lights that Brock recommended to us in the V unit. Those I still have them saved in my list on Amazon. The
Well,
Oh
the
yeah,
ceiling
you
helical,
ones,
sent me
the
those. Those are
LED
awesome.
yeah,
hexagons that
yeah,
make things
yeah,
look high def. Golly,
Yeah,
it's hard to
yeah.
believe.
Those are bright.
and
And
affordable.
part of my setup is like, yeah, the room's dark, and I use lights like that one and like this one
I see.
to like put a lot of light on the animal. It's reminiscent of flash photography, but I don't like doing flash photography, so I'm trying to like recreate that, high contrast dark darks, by taking all the light out of the room and only the light that's pointed at the animal is on. And then you stop down your camera so that the darks are super dark. And yeah, then I use the Lazy Susan to just kind of keep things creative, and a little bit more natural and give it some movement. I also did that for videos. When you
Yeah.
I have some videos on my TikTok of that same setup. So it's like a really high contrast, really great example of the animal in movement while the Lazy Susan's moving.
Oh
And
yeah.
it just makes everything a lot more dynamic and a lot more interesting to look at. Yeah, it's nothing special. It's nothing.
Yeah, but having something
Yeah.
that looks unique is really cool, and I definitely keep my ears open and learn. Learn and listen and try to.
And
Uh,
with ball pythons, they hardly move. If they're not moving, they're never going to move. If they're squirmy, you're never going to get a good photo of it.
That's a
that's true.
So
fact.
you need to catch that bitch on a good day. It needs to not be in shed. It needs to, if it's a piebald, not have just crawled through all of its own shit. And it's got to be in the right mood to sit there.
Yep.
But when they're sitting there and they're at the pet rock that we know it to be, then we're just talking about product photography. And you can
Yeah.
YouTube product photography all day, and they'll give you all different kinds of techniques on how to light a shoe and how to, get some dynamic
Oh,
angles on that shoe. And
okay.
so in ideal conditions, it's just product photography. If you want to Google that and figure that out on your own,
That's
be
cool.
my
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
But do you want to see some animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this new lens on my camera. It's pretty nice and sharp, and the autofocus is pretty sick.
It's quick. It's quicker than a lot of them, I feel like.
Yeah. So let's start with. I really love acid. Acid's a huge codom gene that I'm working with and pushing a lot.
Absolutely.
I have an acid. I was lucky enough to hit a male acid clown a couple of years ago, and this is one of his daughters. She's not a clown, but she's cool. So this is an acid yellow belly fire
Oh yeah, the camera did a great job, Dan.
het clown.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
she's
I like that.
That's better than like pretty much anybody I see with autofocus on
there we go.
YouTube
There it is.
lives. That looks great.
Yeah, she's great. She was a slow eater, but I got her going, and now I'm super happy with her. Hell of a belly. The fire in the yellow belly with acid is kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Confusion OD female over here that looks good. I don't know what I'm gonna do with her yet, but
Yeah.
something like that. Right, I want something like that, so that is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. She's
Definitely
nice.
want to get the lace in there too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So on that note, I'm really big into lace.
I like
I-
white lace. Yeah.
I put a lot of money into lace 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh yeah,
I
you
think
did.
10 grand on 2 animals. Kind of brutal. One of which was supposed to be a boy. Was not a boy. But now I have a visual lace clown female, which is nice, but kind of put me back a couple of years.
Ouch.
So this girl,
Bosa, what's going on, sir? Oh yeah.
this is a leopard lace clown, het for desert ghost.
Nice.
That face
And
is so cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the lace makes her just glow this kind of goldenrod color, and then
Mhm.
makes her head a little bit more red and orange.
Dude, you are not kidding. That is a like sun-kissed soda orange. Like that
Yeah,
is
it is.
Right?
I see
And
it.
yeah, there's no orange dream, so wait till that happens. That would be cool.
Oh, no doubt.
wow. Super OD lace. Now
Yeah,
is
and
it
you're running good Orange Dream line too.
Oh yeah, I,
Aussie stuff, yeah.
that was the
Always about
first
bright.
one of the first things. Hey Bosa, what's up, dude? Um, this girl is growing up real nice. This is a yellow belly fire lace clown.
mm, I love that. I'd love to have something like that. That's awesome.
Her belly's pretty crazy.
Hmm. Again, the head markings, I can't put my finger on it, but they're just more interesting than usual. And that lace is doing something with the clown
Yeah.
on the head
Yeah,
mark.
just more gold, and the flames are super red. It's I'm really happy. So when I picked up one of my in 2019, I bought a bunch of adult females. Right, one of the first females is her grandmother, who was a bling yellow belly bright, and the reason why I first created a where did that go? Created a black-eyed Lucy was because I didn't know and I couldn't find out online that bright is the same as a fire. Maybe not
Ah,
exactly the same, but very similar.
okay.
So some of my fire is quote unquote bright, whatever. But she's she's got the bling yellow belly. She's got a great line of fire, whether that's the bright or the fire from that Jacob Ilka fire line. And yeah, she glows. She's pretty crazy. And this has to be my favorite production of 2024. This will be the last one.
Yeah, you know what? Like they say, quality in, quality out. You know, and there is some, you don't want to necessarily say, oh, just buy from these big name breeders because you can recognize their name and see them on YouTube. But
Sure.
also, you have to also, how did they get to that point? By working with great stuff, innovating genes, and
Right.
you know what I mean? Like they're an icon, they're a big name for a reason. It doesn't mean that you instantly need to like, oh, well, I'm going to avoid it because that's not cool. That's not true. Like people that have really clean animals and that kind of pioneer the industry. Well, when you get something that fits your project from them, I think you can rest assured that the genes they're calling out in that animal are accurate and that it's going to be from some quality, it's going to be from quality background. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole
And
thing makes sense. I love the philosophy you got.
you can also get those genes secondhand, right? They were
Mhm.
originally like my fire clown was originally produced by Justin, but I got it from Showcase Serpents. That was the name, Showcase. I got it from Showcase secondhand. My Aussie Orange Dream was also secondhand, but it was a super high intensity Orange Dream Fire Spider. I
Mm.
saved some money because it was spider. You got to be smart about it. Maybe it has a gene like pastel that isn't doing super well in the market or is being canceled or whatever, but you extract the genes at a much lower cost, which
Well, it's a great point. I never
Yeah,
thought
you
of it
can
that
work.
way.
You can work around. Yeah, you got to have a workaround that way. And go, well, if I hit that one, I don't want that. So,
yeah.
right,
And
you're going to have something in there. But right, it's if you get a deal on your male or your female with that one gene,
yeah,
do run with it anyway.
it could
It's just
be
yeah,
advantageous, and you can get into some genes that maybe you didn't think you could because it has pastel or champagne or whatever.
right.
Man, that's something to think about. I hadn't really thought of things that way.
And this is, yeah, here's the first DG clown I ever hit. And she is a leopard DG clown. Hey, where'd you go? Oh, Jesus. Cover my
Very
face.
clean. Yeah, it's not picking her head up, but it's got her body
Her
good.
body is in super, super amazing high def. It looks
Dude,
awesome.
that camera's awesome though.
Yeah, it's just
That
a
autofocus is just kick ass.
and it's a pretty cheap lens. I got this lens for like $100. Facebook
Dang.
Marketplace, everybody. Facebook Marketplace.
There you go.
You don't need to spend all your money, especially
Oh
not
yeah, right.
nowadays.
Even getting it, yeah, any type of hobby you're getting into, you can do it on a budget. You just gotta look.
You got to finesse, you know.
You
You got
gotta
to
research and
work
you
it.
gotta look.
But yeah. First DG clown. She's a girl, and she's leopard, so it's gonna help me in these dark combinations that I want to do down the road.
Yeah.
Get some stranger into there. I was gonna
Very
show
nice.
my stranger clown boy, yellow belly stranger clown boy, but he's deep in shed. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stranger's awesome.
dude, surprise! That was out of 2024. That was probably the best thing that I learned is how much I love stranger. I got a stranger cinnamon yellow belly boy off of Ryan from SSR and here locally
Yep.
in a trade, and I picked up it. I had heard about the gene, didn't know much about Stranger, and he was a hatchling, so I was like, oh, just left him in the racks, fed him, grew him, kind of forgot about him. And then last year, I had a clown female that I didn't have anyone to match to, and I was like, oh shit, I have that black snake, that cinnamon Stranger yellow belly het clown. Let me give that a go, and that was just by chance, and it made some of my favorite animals from last year.
Isn't that wild?
Sometimes you just got to mix some strange paint and see what happens,
That's wild.
It
Yeah.
doesn't all have to be completely intentional. Maybe you find a gene that you've been curious about. I don't know, bongo, and maybe bongo makes mixes super well with some other gene you weren't aware of. Not to say you should breed everything that you have. You definitely should not breed everything just to breed it. But if you're curious about something, I don't know, maybe pair it up, see what happens. Let's
Yeah.
get weird.
I've seen some cool stuff with bongo. Charlie Moose from TikTok Tread, he got some bongo animals, 2 or 3 of them recently, and he showed me photos. They were pretty darn good looking.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
cool bongo stuff, no doubt.
It's
Yeah,
something I'm not super knowledgeable on at all. So
me neither. It's just one of those genes that was is in the ether. Just how Stranger was back then to me.
yeah,
Like I heard about it, knew about it, looked kind of cool. Didn't know, didn't care until it came into an opportunity in this trade. So I
heck
picked it
yeah.
up.
That's how
That's
Dread
like
and I
the
feel
bang
about
gene, right?
extreme
Who
gene.
knows?
The bang one?
So bang, yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody works that, and it's a pretty cool gene.
Yeah, I think some of these genes, I think Stranger is past that point, but some of these genes still have to prove themselves to the market and to the hobbyists, and just really, Bang looks like it has a bunch of potential. There's also people
Yeah.
that think that it's nothing, but like
Yeah, but then
when
there's some
you
people
hit,
that are wishing they would had got into it back whenever he tried to give it to him when he made it, back
Yeah.
then. So
but
yeah,
Hmm.
I think there's going to be a point, not with every one of these like interesting genes, but if this interesting gene, let's say Bang, happens upon a combination the way Pompeii changed the game for a number of genes, but mostly fucking red. What the fuck is it called?
Red stripe.
Red stripe. Red stripe. It would go through the roof.
yeah, you're right. It would. Everybody'd want it.
But in order to do that, we have to experiment. So
Yeah.
don't breed everything you have, but when you have interesting shit, you should poke around a little bit.
I'm getting mixed messages.
Be smart. Or play the lottery. I don't know. One of those.
Yeah, gosh, it's been amazing. We've been able to learn from people that I guess in the past year and a half, Tread, just how much we've learned. It's been exponential, and so I love these other concepts. I always tease me about getting mixed messages, but you're right. Like sometimes try stuff that because just the influence of one
You gotta-
gene onto another can be really remarkable.
Yeah,
And
maybe you
head
just feel
influences.
something in your balls. You just feel it in your
Yeah.
balls, and you're just like,
That,
I gotta try. Gotta give it a go.
that one warm tingle. When you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're
but
tried and
you're,
true.
you're right. Sometimes you got to just go rogue and just put them together.
Yeah.
That's what my wife's like. You know what? We got them. Let's see what we're gonna get anyway. And
Yeah.
you
There-
you got to learn it, like you're saying. Sometimes you got to learn it and make those mistakes and go, okay, that may
yeah.
not have been the best pairing, but now we
Right.
know what we're getting
And
with those.
research it. Like, don't just match a spot nose to a spot nose. You should like maybe look it up before you pair it. Like,
Yeah,
oh well,
right,
that's
right.
a
Make sure you
deadly
know what
fucking
you're putting
match.
together, especially if it's lethal or
Yeah. There's no
something
reason to
kinking or
match.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. There's no reason to match a super pastel to a pastel spider.
no,
Why would you do that?
Super duper.
yeah. Why would you do that?
That's not helping anybody. But
Right, right, correct.
yeah. But there's gray areas, and there's strategies that are a little nonsensical at times. But I think you can make some special animals and surprise yourself.
Yeah, but it takes time. You're right. You got to get your footing and trial and error and bumps in the road and go, what the fuck, and then
So you guys just got in like 2 years ago? Is
Yeah, we
that
started the show coming up on a year.
Oh, okay.
the
This
show, yeah. But back in the hobby,
Dread had
though,
already had some clutches going. That's how I ended up finding him online. Was that he had egg cuttings, new hatchlings, and so what'd you do? 6 clutches last year, Dread?
yeah, I hit some twins, some Batman
Oh,
stuff, and
nice.
I don't know the
Yeah.
fuck else.
I've never had twins. Still waiting.
Yeah,
That'd
twins.
be cool.
First clutch out of a Hetfer pie female.
Hmm.
So 6 eggs, 7 babies, and only one het. But both
Nice.
twins was visual.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so she
Uh,
stays. There's something weird going on with her, but she stays
Yeah.
because we got to do something. Yeah, see what's up with that
Well,
stuff.
research is
Yeah.
needed. Nah.
Yeah, yeah.
I what the hell was I gonna say? Damn it! In and out of my head.
Oh, well, I didn't start breeding for a purpose till about a year and a half, or growing my collection with a purpose, so about a year and a half ago. So I did
Right.
reptiles from my teens to early 20s, and I got into aquariums and did saltwater coral aquariums and commercially for a decade and stuff. And I did that in my 20s mainly. And then I didn't really touch reptiles at all until about 10 years ago. And I got into New Caledonia geckos about 10 years ago, starting before my daughter was born. And so then I just kind of a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, I just was like, man, I'm going to do something. I'm going to get some species I love that I've always wanted to have and never could have. And then I got green tree python, Brazilian rainbow boa. I kind of
Oh,
backed
yeah.
into ball pythons when I realized how amazing the genetics were and the challenges it was. And so I just kind of made a purposeful decision. Like, I'm definitely going to do this. I don't care how painful it is. These are some animals I've always wanted. So here we are.
With the ball python thing, could you imagine getting into this hobby with no background or knowledge today?
Dude, let me tell
It
you.
is so dense. It is so
Yeah.
dense.
And like
I
in
can
2012, I
imagine.
tried to get into this in 2011, 2012 time frame,
Hmm.
Um, I got a couple ball pythons. I had a normal and I got an albino. I seen the right Mojave spider. I was making a list because
Yeah.
I'd had snakes, as a kid, right? I'd had ball pythons and Burmese and stuff. And of course, life happens. I couldn't do it. Um, and then retired and I was able to get into it, now. But you're right.
Yeah.
If you didn't have this information available to you today, maybe.
Hmm. And I kind of grew with the hobby,
Yeah,
because
and in
same as
even
you,
in 2012 the information wasn't there,
right?
There was
I
the
mean,
internet and we had a lot of stuff on it, but it wasn't
yeah,
like it is now.
it was a lot more manageable. I mean, back then, I can only really remember of like 6 to 8 recessives that mattered anyway. Because I mean, caramel albinos weren't they
Yeah, that was
kinking?
one
The
back then,
kinking,
yeah.
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 So that there was like 6 or 8 recessives that mattered that people knew about, and there was still like 20. There's like 50 codominant genes, but it was a lot easier to grasp. Nobody was even thinking about triple recessives. I think Justin
Yeah.
was maybe talking about holy grails, and everyone's like, "Okay, you psycho! There's no way that's going to happen." And here we are chasing like quads and
Quince.
Quincy.
Yeah,
Morgan.
so that's interesting. We ended up here at this conversation. I was going to ask. So we were racing. I felt like when I started paying attention to it at all was towards it was triple head, and now quad head's on the horizon, and I'm
Hmm.
almost, correct me if I'm wrong or give me your thoughts, hearing from people that are really good established breeders. What's your opinion on this? That maybe less is more. Three good genes. There's a resurgence of the codom. A combo of codoms with an allelic or a recessive in it. But instead of triple and quad recessive race, it feels like it's a recessive, maybe two, a recessive allelic, and then a codom. I feel like it was you. I think Marcus Jane said it while he was on the show with us, Dred, about you only need three genes, but it has to be the right combination. There's still more to unlock that's out there that hasn't been done yet. He goes, but it just dilutes everything when you just keep trying to add more and more recessives. It's going to be such a numerical odds game. It's not worth it. What do you
Yeah.
think about that environment?
Yeah.
Do you think codoms are coming back, getting hot again?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's going to be the sugar and spice to whatever the hell you're cooking, right? So thinking of an analogy on the spot. So double recessive is a mine, right? And you're just digging and digging and adding more genes in order to unearth some cool combinations. And you only have so many genes at your disposal with codominant genes. As an individual, the entire hobby, we have access as a hobby to like hundreds of genes at this point. I couldn't even tell you. But in this double recessive mine, you're getting only so far before you're being told by the market to semi-abandon that mine and go start a new mine that is a triple recessive. And every time you want to do a different triple recessive combination, you have to restart your mine and re-plug in all these codominant genes. So if you don't continue, like for me, I really want to mine the shit out of DG Clown and really getting into the dark combinations of DG Clown, and some pattern disruptors like, Scrambler, Calico, all that stuff within that project. But if you are constantly propagating new mines and new projects, you have to restart all over of getting those codominant genes into those projects. So if you're constantly worried about starting and propagating new projects, let's not to mention the amount of space, rack space you have to be the foundation for your project. You're going to need. Are you even really in a project if you don't have 10 breeding females? How much can you afford? How many animals? How many clutches can you healthily undertake? So I know my limitations. I have not started a triple recessive project yet. I might have triple hets this year on DG Clown Hypo, but it's not really my priority. I think not everybody needs to specialize, but you should somewhat specialize in something, right? You should make a name for yourself within a project and really get somewhere with it and stick to your guns and
Stick to
choose
your
that
lane.
project and see it through, how do you know if there's any success in this mine unless you go a couple 100 feet deep? How do you know there's going to be any fucking oil under the earth if you don't drill it, for a couple 100 feet?
Yep.
So,
And you can't just abandon it, even if
starting, you're going to miss out.
that project you were doing and now the market caught up to you, beat you to it because they were a year ahead of you, and you're like, well, crap, there goes this animal. Now it's 50% less.
Right.
But
Yeah.
instead of using that as well, this is the end of the road, what do you add? There's a codon, there's an answer. How can I add something to this while it's still fresh in the hobby's memory? Oh,
Yeah.
well, here was this pick two
Is it
genes.
relevant?
Yeah, sugar clown, something or other. But then now you've added, black pastel, or you whatever, you pick a gene,
Yeah.
and you've added something to it, and then oh, well, that really snaps. That's really different. So
And
don't
the
abandon
further you
your
go,
resources.
and the further you go, and the further you unearth, the farther you unearth, combinations within a double recessive, that can inform you to what will look good in a triple. So that's invaluable, that information. Like, holy shit, I don't know, a blackhead calico leopard orange dream looks amazing as a clown DG, or DG clown.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck is it going to look like as a DG hypo clown? Like, that would inform you which codominants to put into the other project.
Age is better. Even more amazing.
Yeah.
Hypoetic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Give me 1
So,
second, I'll be right back. Hold it down, Joe.
yeah,
Well, you've got 225 genes, okay.
225. Yeah, that's a lot.
But that's just in the U.S. So
Oh shit.
which ones you have, like Canada or Europe, right, wherever.
Yeah.
So you do have other genes you could bring in. That's just what's
Yeah.
on Morph Market. So 225, right, still a lot of daggum.
That the possibilities are
Yeah,
staggering.
and some of
right?
those genes, right, you're probably not gonna mess with, but
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that kind of
yeah.
put themselves out, like spider champagne.
Yeah, and then
Stuff
some
like
of them
that.
you just can't afford to get into just yet, some of the new up
And
and
some of
coming.
them are
Right. I mean, but
renamed.
even the ones that you can get into, you're never going to run out of something to do.
Right, in a double
Like
recessive.
right, if you plan it out and do it right and you're
Yeah.
never going to run out. Even if you got 4 genes at your house, you can.
Yeah, you could. I don't know what the math is, but I think you can make like 40 different.
You can make a whole lot of cool, crazy looking stuff just with 4 genes,
Yeah.
and then bring it, so that it, yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
can
to
stay
answer the
busy
question,
making
like,
cool stuff.
codominant genes, especially the primo ones, lace, acid, or confusion, cypress, those codominant genes are going to be invaluable when it comes to putting them into multi-recessive projects. They're going to be the cream of the crop. And if you have those genes and you're putting them into those multi-recessives, your hets are going to sell. So it makes it somewhat worry-free when you're producing within multi-recessives with primo genes like cypress, lace, and
Yeah, and seeing that's kind of on that same note, like what Phil was alluding to, and you were talking about here. Kyle Hoffman said the same thing too. He goes, "Look, you got to pair up just to hit that visual triple, quad, whatever it is. Like you're saying, 10 females. You may only hit 2 or 3." He goes,
Right.
"The work that it takes." He goes, and then to try to identify. Okay, so you already got
Yeah.
triple, quads, and whatever, and all these genes. Now you got to try to identify all that. He's like, dude, it's a pain in the ass.
Right, and that's why I have minimized pied as much as I have in my collection. It just makes it so much harder to identify. I have no idea what the fuck I'm looking at. Like, especially with a low white pied. And pied will always be, a high seller, especially in the pet industry. But not to be a hater, but I'm just moving away from that stock, right?
I'm only pieing things in the along the super orange dream, scrambler
the eye
hypo,
catchers, right?
Enchi, stuff like that. That's in there, but yeah, I love those classic versions of it, but just kind of cranked up a notch. Throw DG or whatever in there, just get some pattern back.
Pie needs more pattern for sure.
Yeah, I'm probably just also salty because my clown pied project has just constantly kicked me in the balls for the past 5 years. I have not hit a clown pied, and I've had 3 years breeding to possibly get it. And yeah,
Really?
maybe this year. I'm doing a visual het to a visual het. So if I don't get a clown pied, I am gonna be pissed.
Yeah. That's tough, At least they're locking for you. I get people. Well, they don't even have any interest in each other, and here you are, with the odds not working in the favor. That's
and then you'll just have projects like that, and maybe next year it'll just pop off, and you'll you'll hit some crazy shit you never thought you could. But that's just kind of part of the game.
Yeah.
Just
I'm supposed
part
to
of
get
it.
some white lace later this year from Brock at Morphinary.
Oh,
And
nice.
I've got a really nice example of a cypress, yellow belly cypress, het clown girl. And I got a Orange
Nice.
Dream Enchi visual clown boy to put to her.
Yeah,
So,
I think I got my little Cypress boy locked up a few times with Enchi Fire, Ozio Orange Dream. I think it's High Intensity Orange Dream, Het Clown, and he's a Cypress clown. So that'd be cool. Some Cypress Orange Dream Fire stuff would be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah,
yep, I do like cypress a lot.
I do too.
Didn't you mention 3 genes? What was the other one you said?
Cypress,
Stranger.
acid, and Stranger too. I mean,
Yeah.
I originally said lace,
And lace.
acid, cypress. Yeah,
I
those
got
4 genes right there. I mean, put that in a DG clown. I don't know. Let's find out.
Right. There's a lot of good stuff to still be done for sure.
Yeah.
All right, good sir. Dredd, do you have anything? Give us some wisdom from 24 moving into 25. Give me a good bit of wisdom, Dredd, and let's challenge Dan one last time.
Ah, don't do that.
Well, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to challenge, but
Oh, I meant like mentally, like a real, like a thinker, a deep
A
question.
brain splitter.
a brain splitter.
A mind melter.
I mean, mine's like, what gene do you not have that you really want to get, but are just not doing it, either for space or budget? Like, what's it? One gene you're in?
Yeah, it would be that one gene you'd love to have
Man.
that you just can't afford to get right now. Or
Right
maybe-
now, yeah.
hard to
Scrambler,
say.
probably. Scrambler, and I would want to get it directly from fuck my brain.
Marcus James.
Marcus Jane.
I still
And
got
I'd
that
want it
list
to be
going.
het for something.
Still
I'd
has
want
the
it to be-
list and some
That
good
list
deals,
is just
dude.
about wrapping up. I just was sending him addresses. I got that list still.
Yeah, I'd want to get it in probably a visual or a het for something, DG or clown or hypo.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I just don't have the time to be waiting around for non-het animal to grow up, and I want to get ahead in some stuff. So I'd want to drop some coin on a nice example of a scrambler. That's probably visual, maybe a visual het. Visual for one thing, het for something else.
Right.
That would be really fun. Any other gene that really pops out? There's that one that's over in Germany
Cosmos?
that I keep hearing about. It's like a really granity fucking pattern. What'd you say?
Cosmos?
No.
Cosmos. Yeah, that one.
Is
Yeah.
it Cosmos?
That one looks interesting. I'm not super sold on it, but it could be a stranger situation. When I see it in person, I'm just blown away. Oh, no, I know the right answer. I really am super interested in zebra.
Yeah.
I really like that thing, and I want to see a Xanthic DG zebra. Just
One gene that's really
real
expensive
zebra.
that I can't justify it in my head is a rainbow. I need to see more about that. Maybe that's just what Sunset kind of started out as really high, and then not wowing me anyhow, at least. But then now we're starting to see some combos that are like, wow, now that is cool.
I'm super out of the loop on rainbow. I'd have to do some research and take a look. But yeah, I think those zebra, some scrambler, and Cosmos would really round out my collection, I think. I mean, whose collection wouldn't that help? Fuck.
Right.
So-
Exactly.
I got an email
That
started for you,
Cosmos.
Dan. I'll fire it over to you, dude.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank
send him that email. There's some good. That's a good list.
Prices are way lower than
Yeah.
it's from
Really?
Market. He's shipping it in. Yeah, we had a list for about 2
Yeah.
months. It's about to
I
wrap.
wished I had some spare pennies because I'd pick up something, but
Yeah,
I can't right now. I gotta wait.
I might have to do a hit.
That's
What?
okay. You ever seen the show Barry? God, I love that show.
Hell
I need
yeah.
to get HBO
That show's-
back. I haven't seen
That show's
season 3.
hilarious.
Oh,
You
yeah.
never watched the last season? It was good. It was good.
Was three
It
the
was
last
hard.
season?
Yeah, yeah, it's over. That's
That's
the whole. I don't know.
some of the best shows have a finite ending. I thought that about Bates Motel too. Like when they had like we're only running for so long, they can get a story arc and really wrap it nicely. I like that. I think maybe
I just watched Sopranos through for the first time. I'd never watched Sopranos, and
Dan.
I watched it all the way through. I mean, it's a great show. I'm afraid that time will make it unwatchable for younger generations. I think in 10 years, whatever
Okay.
whatever comes after Gen A, Gen B, I don't fucking know. They're just gonna look at it like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Because like, there's some cool little
I know what comes after Gen A.
Gen B, Gen.
Forrest Gump.
Oh God,
Gen A.
what
That's
comes
Gen
after
E,
Gen
not Gen
A?
A.
That's how he
Gen
says.
A. Actually, it is. Gen A.
Yeah,
Gen
yeah.
A was my best good friend.
She
Yeah,
got
you're right.
sick.
We just doomed a whole culture of newborns. We just say
Yeah.
Yeah.
children will be smited with this terrible.
Sorry. But yeah, I don't think they'll be able to relate to it at all. And they'll be like, "Oh, this is derivative of something else that I'm watching that's current right now." And it's like, "No, this is why
Yeah, they
that
won't be
is
able to
that good."
comprehend it.
Yeah. Like why were they so
I
racist?
noticed that
Why were
about
they?
Seinfeld is starting to not and Friends not aging so well. We've hit
Yeah.
that.
I mean, they said some questionable shit in The Sopranos.
Yeah,
But you got to take it for when it came out. It
exactly.
was a great
Dude, just think
show.
about way back when. What was that? Blazing Saddles.
Holy shit! Yeah, one of the.
Right? Right?
I'm in Kansas City, man.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, they should have been. Yeah, come on.
Fuck. Yeah, you can't say that. You
Yeah.
can't say that no more.
Dude, I know. So, I mean, right back in those days, I mean, and everybody laughed. It was funny.
Right. I
Now and
mean,
then, right, everybody
it's
too
funny in a
butthurt these
different way
days.
now. It's like an anxious funny to me. I'm like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, you can.
Did
Yeah.
he really just say that? Oh, I'm embarrassed.
God. Yeah. But cringy shit sells pretty well. There's people that love the cringe. They just watch stuff for the
Like
cringe.
Dr. Pimple Popper. Boom.
Yeah, they do.
Ugh, yeah. Yeah. I'd be watching.
People like
this.
gross and people like drama.
Yeah.
Cringe. All right, gentlemen, you ready to wrap this bad boy up and get on to dinner? Yeehaw.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Let's
get
do
some
it.
macaroni pizza.
Yeah.
Interesting. I want to hear more about this. I want to hear
But
more.
the only thing is, you need to put some pulled pork on top of that.
Ooh.
We have that
burnt
in
ends?
our
Pork
ingredients.
macaroni pizza.
Fuck yeah. Or some like
I've done
buffalo
it. It's good.
buffalo wing macaroni pizza. Ooh.
Oh yeah, that'd be good too.
We've got a buffalo. We don't have macaroni, but
Hmm.
I'm
I
now
gotta
a
go eat.
pizza stuff. I think
We have the technology. We can do it.
Yeah, it can be done.
right on. All right, Dread. Let's wrap this show up. Dan, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks,
I
Dan.
wanted
We
this to be like
appreciate it,
super
bro.
cash because you and I have gotten to be friends over the last year, I think, and it's just
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of like
I was
hang out and get to know you, not just be like rifle through rapid fire questions and heavy opinions. I just want to like hang out and get to know Dan.
Yeah. I've always been terrible at like presentations and talking in front of people, and I was very nervous at the beginning of this interview thing. But it was very comfortable. It took like 10 minutes.
Then he said he's seen Dredd. He goes, look at Dredd. There's no reason to be nervous.
No, I was just like, oh yeah, we're just talking shit, and not going for the throat on each other on anything.
Oh God, no.
Some
No,
podcasts.
dude. We since the beginning, we just like to hang out.
Yeah, same. I'm of the same mentality, same speed. I see some podcasts and it looks like people are trying to make shit happen, and I'm just like, God, why are we doing this?
That's not us.
Right.
Yeah, you can bring up a little drama here and there, right? We'll entertain a few things, but
Yeah, but it's all in good fun.
yeah.
I'd rather
we're not
not,
going to beat a dead horse over it. Yeah.
Also, it's bad for business to like be super political or have
Oh, it
strong
is.
opinions about stuff, and more people should be aware of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
it's better just to stay out of that
we
opinion.
stay
That
away
whole
from
Right.
it.
Not that we don't have our own opinions as as individuals, but like that doesn't.
But when you're trying to make a name for
We're talking about
yourself and
snakes,
you're
baby.
yeah, when you're trying to
Yeah,
build your brand and there's a
Yeah.
place for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
uh,
thank you again, guys. You guys rock. I had a great time.
awesome.
I'm gonna
We
go
did
have
as
a beer
well.
and a macaroni pizza.
You bet, big
Macaroni
dog. We
pizza.
appreciate it. Come on anytime.
It's coming up, baby. All right, I'm gonna throw you
Yeah.
backstage. We'll wrap this up. Give me just a hot second here.
Because I
Dread.
gotta pee.
That happens. Yeah,
I
I
gotta
get
pee.
it.
I drank all those Dr. Peppers.
Jen Bay.
Gin Bay.
All right, Dread. Have a good night.
Good night, guys. Have a good
See ya. Thanks for hanging out, watching Naughty Business tonight, everybody. We'll see you next time. Not this coming Saturday, the one after. JVK Enclosures. JVK Enclosures out of the UK. They are revolutionizing the Chondro game, arboreal snakes in hexagons. It's amazing. We'll see you in a couple Saturdays from the other side of the pond.